You need to hear this right now. One sentence just sent a shockwave through Europe. Carefully consider the consequences. That's not diplomacy, that's a red alert. And if you think this is just another foreign policy headline, stop. Because what's unfolding right now will shape energy prices, security, markets, and stability far beyond one country's borders. And yes, it will reach everyday people faster than anyone wants to admit. This is how global pressure builds. Quietly, publicly, intentionally. One warning delivered at the exact moment, alliances harden and fault lines tighten. This is about power. Who holds it, who absorbs risk, and who pays when pressure escalates without war. Ask yourself this: what happens when frontline states become testing grounds? What happens when guarantees are assumed but consequences arrive first? Stay with me. Because we're cutting through the noise to expose what this warning really means, why it was issued now, and how it signals the next phase of a much bigger confrontation. Starting with the fact that Russia has just issued a public warning using calm language to deliver strategic intent with maximum force. Russia issues a public warning. Diplomatic language, strategic intent. That's the headline. And you need to understand something immediately. This is not casual phrasing. This is not background noise. This is not something slipped into a press briefing by accident. This is a deliberate signal, released into the public domain, calibrated to be heard not just in Warsaw, but across Europe and inside every capital watching this conflict harden in real time. When a Russian foreign ministry spokeswoman tells Poland to carefully consider the consequences, that sentence is doing strategic work. It's restraint and threat wrapped together. It's calm, controlled, and designed to land with maximum psychological impact. This is how states escalate without crossing red lines. This is how pressure is applied before force ever enters the picture. And here's why this matters right now. Warnings like this are never about feelings. They are about leverage. They are about costs. They are about who is exposed when systems are stressed. Russia is not speaking emotionally. It's speaking structurally. It is reminding Poland and anyone else paying attention that actions taken in alliance politics ripple outward through energy markets, trade flows, military posture, and domestic stability. This is a warning issued in the language of power, not anger. And that's what makes it serious. Now lock in on the second reality unfolding at the same time. Because these two cannot be separated. Poland positioned as a frontline state in a deepening power struggle. This is the other half of the story, and it's not theoretical. It's geographic, economic, and political. Poland has moved itself deliberately into the forward edge of NATO's posture against Russia. More weapons transfers, more logistical infrastructure, louder political alignment, tighter coordination. This isn't symbolic. This is material. And when you position yourself at the front of a geopolitical fault line, you don't just gain visibility, you absorb pressure first. Frontline status changes everything. It changes how markets perceive risk. It changes how adversaries calculate response. It changes how much margin for error you actually have. Poland is no longer just a participant in a broader alliance strategy. It is a node, a critical one. And nodes carry load. When stress enters the system, nodes feel it before anyone else does. Russia's warning lands precisely here. It is not aimed at Poland's ideology. It is aimed at Poland's role. Moscow is signaling that Warsaw's decisions have shifted Poland from observer to actor, from supporter to stakeholder, from protected space to contested space, and that shift comes with consequences that don't require tanks or troops to enforce. This is where people get it wrong. They hear consequences and think military escalation. That's the least efficient option. The more effective tools are economic and strategic energy pricing, trade restrictions, cyber pressure, regional destabilization, capital flight, insurance costs, defense spending increases. These are slow burns, not explosions. And they reshape countries quietly, persistently, and deeply. Poland's economy is integrated into European supply chains. Its energy security is sensitive. Its defense budget is already expanding rapidly. Every additional layer of tension adds cost. And those costs don't stay abstract. They hit households, they hit public services, they hit political stability. This is what frontline status really means. Not glory, not symbolism, but exposure. And Russia knows this. That's why the warning is public. It's designed to introduce doubt, to force recalculation, to make policymakers ask, not are we right, but how much will this cost us, and for how long? Because in long conflicts, endurance matters more than posture. There's another layer you cannot ignore. By speaking to Poland this way, Moscow is also speaking to every other state sitting between major power blocks. The message is simple and chilling. Alignment does not equal insulation. In fact, alignment can increase vulnerability. Frontline states don't get to choose the timing or the form of retaliation. They live inside the reaction curve. This is the structural truth of power politics that gets buried under moral language. Alliances are not shields. They are frameworks. They distribute risk, but they do not eliminate it. And often they distribute risk unevenly. The countries closest to the fault line absorb the shock first, while larger powers retain strategic distance. Poland's bet is that NATO unity offsets this risk. Russia's warning challenges that bet without naming it. It raises the question, how automatic is protection? How fast is response? And how much pain is Warsaw expected to tolerate before broader intervention occurs? These are not rhetorical questions. They are the calculations that shape policy behind closed doors. And that's why this moment feels urgent. Because once a country becomes structurally embedded as a frontline state, backing out is not simple. Supply chains are reoriented, military commitments are locked in, political narratives harden, public expectations shift. The cost of reversal rises with every step forward. This warning is not about today, it's about trajectory. It's about telling Poland that the path it's on leads to sustained pressure, not a single dramatic event. It's about reminding Warsaw that geopolitical positioning is not a one-time choice. It's a long-term condition. And make no mistake, this is breaking news not because of what was said, but because of how openly it was said. Diplomatic warnings are usually coded indirect, deniable. This one wasn't. It was clean, direct, public. That tells you the pressure phase is already underway. When power struggles deepen, language hardens before actions do. This is that moment. Consequences signals economic and security retaliation, not rhetoric. This is the language of pressure, not posturing, aimed at costs that arrive quietly, but hit hard. Energy prices, trade barriers, market confidence, and sustained strategic strain. NATO alignment brings protection and amplified exposure. For Poland, standing firmly inside the alliance also means standing closer to the blast radius, where reassurance and risk rise together, and the margin for error narrows fast. Energy, trade, and supply chains become pressure points as geopolitical tension tightens. These systems move faster than diplomacy and react. Before leaders can respond, turning political decisions into immediate economic stress. Escalation without war reshapes regional stability by shifting risk through markets, infrastructure, and security posture, creating instability that spreads quietly, persistently, and across borders long before any formal conflict is declared. Frontline economies absorb shocks before alliances respond, and that lag can define outcomes. Poland's proximity means financial strain, security pressure, and political risk surface early, testing resilience long before collective mechanisms fully engage. Moscow challenges assumptions of permanent security guarantees, signaling that protection is conditional, timing matters, and exposure grows when deterrence relies on promises rather than immediate control of economic and strategic fallout. Strategic signaling aimed beyond Poland to all buffer states. This warning is broadcast, not private, designed to force capitals across the region to reassess alignment, exposure, and endurance under pressure. Power blocks posture. Smaller nations pay the price as risk is externalized downward. costs surface locally, and economies shoulder volatility first, revealing a system where influence is centralized and consequences are widely distributed. Here's the truth you cannot ignore. This was never about a single statement or a single country. It's about how power is exercised today, through economics, exposure, and pressure that builds before anyone calls it a crisis. Poland's frontline role, Russia's calculated warning, and the absence of open conflict all reveal the same thing. The system is shifting and the cost of miscalculation is rising fast. This matters to you because global power struggles don't stay on maps. They move into homes, bills, jobs, and futures. Awareness is your first defense. Understanding where pressure flows is how you stay ahead instead of getting blindsided. This is USA World Reports, and our mission is to make sure you see the real forces shaping the world before they hit you. If this report sharpened your perspective, don't watch silently. Like it, share it, subscribe. Join a community that stays informed, stays alert, and refuses to be caught off guard. The world is moving. Stay ahead of it.